name is Emma. I'm a tutor here at First Intuition, and we are doing our Level 4 Synoptic free revision even sessions. I've been doing them for quite a while now, actually, since I think this is the 12th session now. So if this is your first session, all you need to do is drop me an email at the email address on the screen, and I will send you back the previous sessions via a link. You don't necessarily need the attachment I put in. It's just I know some of you like to have the question in advance. I'll try and keep it a little bit not too in advance to give you, I always think it's a better exam experience if you see it at the same time as answering it. You can always watch it on the recording anyway. But yeah, I have put the question in the chat, some of you will see. So when we're using Zoom, we like to use the chat function, as lots of you already know. We use that quite a lot. Sometimes use the reactions as well. So if you go on your hover on your screen and then click on the reactions button, you can find a reaction, anyone you like, which will disappear again after a while. They changed that. It used to be that you held it up there for a while, but now it disappears again. So feel free to use your reactions. Use your reactions now then. Who's got their exam next week? Who's got the exam next week? Yeah, lots of you have. I was thinking you might do. Next week's a good exam week. I know lots of you might have a little bit longer if you're not doing it for COVID. I've got a couple of questions I am going to answer tonight, which I've seen in my chat box, and which I've seen by email as well. So first question people are asking was about variances, about whether you need to be able to calculate the variances. And I would say yes to variances. Just make sure you've practiced it. It's not something that I hear about frequently, but make sure you practice. Make sure you practice it so it doesn't. If you're thinking it now, you've got time to practice it before next week. So I'd say yes, but I haven't heard lots of talk about variances coming up. The other question, which is a really good question, which is a good one to cover before your exam, is how you're going to structure this in terms of time management. And I think what's important for your time management is the order that you do it in. Let me add a screen in. Let's put it in here. So the best exam technique that people follow. Oh, if I can spell technique, that would be good, wouldn't it? Technique, there you go. Which tasks are you going to do first? Put it in the chat. Which tasks are you planning on doing first of all? Good, I agree. Lots of you are saying do task 1 and do task 5. Absolutely. Why are you going to do task 1 and task 5 first? What is it about them that makes you think I should probably do them first? Morgan's gone straight for the order. Yeah, not written, assume knowledge. They might be the easier marks, hopefully. Computer marks quicker. They do take less time. And the benefit, marks in the bag, yes, Jessica. And the benefit of doing that is that actually it means that they, like you say, they're likely to take less time. Hopefully they'll give you a bit of confidence. Yes, Alice, absolutely. And it means that when you get to the written tasks, you're going to, at this point, stop and allocate your time, whatever time you have left, over the 4 tasks left. What you don't want to do is race through certain tasks and have time left of kind of, if I race through the first 4 tasks and I had tons of time in the last 2 tasks, it's not likely to give you maximum marks. What you want to do is spend the time you need on task 1 and 5. Don't rush them, but spend the time you need on them. And then when you've done task 1 and task 5, if you've got maybe 2 hours left would be exactly on time. If you've got maybe 2.5 hours left, okay, we'll spread that out over the 4 tasks you've got left then. And that way you're going to maximize the chance of you getting the most marks you can on these 4 other written tasks. And I would do task 3 and then task 6, because typically they go quite well. People like the skills involved. and then the ones that people find harder, task 2 and task 4, because hopefully by that point you've really got into the swing of things. Another question then, who's actually sat and got 6 tasks and done a practice exam like this? Who's done any practice exams at all? Because you want before next week. Excellent. If you have, well done. You've got time. If you haven't, you could even make yourself tasks. Yeah, I think the mock is absolutely vital, just because it feels like 6 separate things, and that's because it is 6 separate things. You want to spend some time just saying, okay, this is an exam. I've got 6 tasks to do, 3 hours to do it. Yeah, Jordan, absolutely. And if we see massively people that have done a practice exam to time, and the to time bit is really important, tend to do better than those that see it for the first time in the exam. So make sure you spend some time this weekend doing that. But for tonight, we are going, oh, that's annoying. People that failed, just slight marginal fails, are annoying a bit. Yes, it is. Merlin, yeah, it's likely you will struggle a bit to get time, and you won't have a chance to review the answers. You want to be finishing the exam with a minute to spare, really, because then you know you've written all you can, right? You don't want to be sauntering out the exam half an hour early because you've wasted an opportunity. So use all the time that you have in the exam. Expand those answers as much as you can. 90 of us tonight, it's impressive. Okay, so by popular demand, we're going to have a look tonight at a cost-benefit question. I have put the PDF in the chat. If you scroll up, if it's after... Oh, so Megan's got a good question. Is it easy to flip between tasks? What do we think, guys? Is the AAT technology quite good for that? I have heard, I'll send it again. I have heard that it's very easy and it doesn't, no one's ever minded before. No one's said it caused a problem. Yeah. As long as you're happy you've done all the tasks. But again, I think it'll prompt you for that. Yeah. So yeah, definitely follow a plan. Nice. Leslie says flag questions. Okay, but we're going to have a look at a cost-benefit analysis. I'll make it a bit bigger in a second. I'm showing you how much information we've got. And what we're required to do by popular demand is to explain, there's that key word there, the financial and non-financial costs and benefits associated with each option in the table on the next page. I haven't sent you the table. I'll show you in a second. It's very easy to draw up. And this is a really common question. Seems to crop up quite a lot at the moment in the Synoptic. Let's have a look at this question before we look at the information. It's that cost-benefit question that people see. I think once you've seen a couple, they're about a lot easier than you hopefully imagine. So I've got 2 options to look at, so with each option, and for each option, I've got to go for financial and non-financial costs and benefits. So I'm going to need to come up with 8 different things. So for option 1, you've got this table on, well, this is the table we're going to have to draw up. Option 1 and option 2, I'm going to need to come up with a benefit, financial benefit, and a benefit of a non-financial idea. And that'll be strange first of all, but once you start to get into it, they're not too bad. If you haven't seen one of these questions before, this is going to be an excellent thing for you to do before next week. Make sure you've seen one. Then I've got to come up with a cost for each option. Firstly, a financial cost, so something which will financially cost me money about whatever the options are, and then a non-financial cost. You know, there's other factors, maybe time, maybe effort, maybe reputation, all those non-financial things. But what keyword do I need in this requirement? I will have to come up with some ideas. What word is going to really make sure I get 8 out of 8 rather than 0 out of 0? Which word is really key in this requirement? It is. Anyone that's listened to many of the videos will know that with absolutely with AAT, as with many of the institutes, well, if not all, if you come to think of it, all of the institutes, the exam verb is really, really key. So excellent if you knew that. All right, really key that you explain the financial and non-financial costs. So once I've come up with an option, an idea, what do I need to do with that idea? Once I've come up with an idea, say option 1 saves us some money, what do I need to then explain about it? Yeah? Why that might be the case? Explain how and why. The reason, yeah, calculations, how it gives me that. And if you think that's too simple, if that isn't really getting, excellent, Jessica, if that isn't potentially doesn't get you very far, the way you can expand on it, and this is what I see time and time again when I mark these questions, what people don't do is say the impact on the business. Okay, so if there's a massive cost involved, it's quite simple for you to tell me that's a financial cost. People often stop there and hurt themselves marks-wise. Actually, you need to tell me the impact that might have on the business. Maybe there's an impact on cash flow. Maybe that means that we don't have the money to buy new goods. Maybe it means we can't have another opportunity. Yeah, so it's really important you're explaining it, which really realistically means expand. There's no right or wrong way to expand an answer, as long as you give the examiner something which shows you have some business knowledge around it, you're going to come up with the marks. So this could come up in task 6, like a lot of people see it, Megan, in task 6. They say it comes up quite frequently in task 6. So I suppose it's analysis of options. I mean, it could really fit into task 4, couldn't it, as well? Decision and controls could come into task 4 as well, but it does tend to come up in task 6. Right, so you imagine, given that it's 15 marks, well, actually, there'd probably be 2 marks for each answer. Right, so there's going to be 2 marks for each one. And they'd cap you at 15. If you got capped, then you're onto a very good thing, aren't you? 12. Yeah, moves on to the right track. Opportunity costs are going to be quite a good thing. Yeah, opportunity costs. An opportunity cost being, what is an opportunity cost? It's quite a useful thing to have here, isn't it? What is an opportunity cost? Do you think, guys? What does that mean, an opportunity cost of something? Not planned for. Yeah, Megan says something we miss out on by choosing a certain option. I like that. Benefit arises from the option chose. Yeah, what you missed out on. I think, yeah, what you missed out on is the good thing. So the opportunity cost of you being here tonight, what would you otherwise be doing if you weren't, all 91 of you, sitting listening to this? Would you be watching Spurs, like my husband is? Would you be reading a book, like my daughter is? Would you be asleep, like my sons are? Working. Marta would go to bed. Alison would be cooking. Nice. I like that, Alison. Anything nice, Alison? Oh, bath. Nice, Sam. Missing out on revision. Yeah, that's a good point, Pina. Wine, says Juliet. Whatever you're... Oh, just dinner. But dinner's good, though. Watching West Ham, highlights on repeat. I'd say that's a fairly low opportunity cost, James. You haven't missed out much there. Large gin, says Ryan. Yes. Yeah, Pat, I think it is from the FI mock. Larger tea, says Alison. Gymnastics, cuppa. Yeah, so anything you would be doing if you weren't here is the opportunity cost of you being here. The next best thing you're missing out on. Yeah, so what you're not doing. Yeah, let's go with what else you could be doing. Excitingly, after this, FI internally are hosting a a magic night. So after this, I'll be joining the magic night. So opportunity cost, but I don't mind. It's a good. I think it starts about 8:15. So only a small. Actually, I think it might even be 8:30. There might be zero opportunity cost. Could fall seamlessly from one to the other. But the opportunity cost is what else you could be doing. Yeah. I think it might be. Let me see. Sorry, Pat. I think it is. Which one is it? In the rehearsal phase, it says, Pat. I'm not sure where. Have you got the folder, Pat? Where was I? In the book. It says the rehearsal phase, which I think is the task bank, Pat. Megan says, how does opportunity cost relate to this question? That is a very good question. So an opportunity cost, how can opportunity cost relate to an option to deciding things? Yeah. So thanks, Merlin, Mock 2. So if, Megan, if I was deciding whether or not to invest in a new factory, the opportunity cost would be, well, what else could I spend the money on? There'd be something that I could purchase that I wouldn't be able to purchase because I would be buying the factory. So sometimes it can be a non-financial cost. Well, what else could I be doing? Opportunity cost can be a time thing. So the non-financial cost of following an option could be that we lose time to do something else. So they do really fit in here, often with the non-financial side of things. Yeah, financial cost as well. It's often a non-financial one. What else could you be doing? But let's see, let's give it some context. Let's read these options. No, not directly. Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, Megan, because that's sometimes where people go wrong. They're trying to think too close to the scenario, which is absolutely what you would do if you hadn't done these before. But let's have a look then. Hopefully we understand what we've got to do. Pick up financial and non-financial benefits. So you can draw yourself a little table if you like. I won't be flipping around from the screen, but draw yourself a little, this is the sort of thing that we'd have, or that you'd have in the exam. 2 options, benefits, costs. But I'll stick on this screen so we're not flipping around. You'll need a bit of a box that looks like this. Let's have a read through. And as we're reading through, draw yourselves up a box. If you think of anything, jot them down. Jot them down in your different boxes. And there is no point, what I will tell you exam-wise, is that there are equal marks for each X. There's no point spending hours and hours on the first bit and having nothing to say for the rest. That's a really common thing I've seen people do. They spend a lot of time on the first bit and then leave the rest and think that'll get them lots of marks. There's only 2 available for each X, as it were, each thing to think of. So you've got to really spread yourself over the question and those factors that they've got. Okay. Right, let's have a read of this then. So it says, Veggie Delights is considering how it can improve the business, and the management team have been considering 2 investments. Firstly, option 1 is they could have a farm to produce organic ingredients for use in the restaurants. Seems like quite a big option. just buy a farm. Or the second option is that they could outsource production of their cakes, bakes and sandwiches to enable focus on the delivery part of the business. Yeah, so quite 2 different options, and we've got some more information about those options. So we'll look at option 1 first, and I think if I was in the exam, I wouldn't try and I'd do one option and then the next option. It can be quite tricky to make your brain jump between options. I think it's quite a good idea to do the first option, think of all 4 ideas and then move to your second option. So let's have a look at this first thing. So if we're going to get a farm to produce organic ingredients for use in our restaurants, then a large initial investment will be required to purchase the farm and the land required for this initiative. Sean has always imagined that he would be able to have an organic farm to supply products to the restaurants and adapt menus to make the most of the internally sourced produce and the seasonality of it. There is a potential farm available, which in addition to the land and equipment required for a wide range of vegetable production, includes facilities for milk farming and cheese production. Sounds quite a big thing. The capacity of the farm, if fully operational, will exceed the requirements of the restaurant. Only 20% of total production will be required across all restaurants. This would enable Veggie Delights to sell a range of farm shop goods from their restaurants, as well as opening farm shop store with capacity to supply other local restaurants. So this, if we decided to do this, would be a very big thing to do. So we've got to think of benefits and costs related to this option, both financial and non-financial. So have a minute, have a think, put some ideas in the chat, and we'll see if we can come up what we can come up with. Put your ideas in the chat. We'll hopefully have coverage of all four. Let's see what you think. When you're putting your idea in, tell me whether it's a benefit or a cost, and tell me whether it's a financial or a non-financial one. But Pina, don't worry, you don't have to write it again. I knew it. That's a good one to start with, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so put your ideas in and we'll see what we've got. No, not comparing it to the second one. No, it isn't even comparing it, actually. That's a really good point. Megan says we're not comparing the second one. No, we're just treating them totally individually. Yeah, it's a really good point. It's almost like two separate questions. Yeah, totally individually. Oh, Jessica, that is good thinking. Yeah, looking at it alone. Yes, Megan. Just the first one. Nice. Any other ideas? I think we're short on the costs or a financial benefit. If anyone can come up with a financial benefit, put that in. So a financial benefit we're missing. And we're also missing, we've got some now. And we're also potentially missing a non-financial cost. The opportunity cost might come into play here, mightn't it? Oh, we've got millions of messages now, so let me start and have a look. Right, so lots of people absolutely got off to a great start by telling me that there was a financial cost in the large initial investment, and that is absolutely a financial cost. And that's the examiner or the question writer, as it is here, getting you off the starting box and saying, look, that's the sort of financial cost you're looking for. Right, and absolutely that's going to have a large impact on cash flow. Means we won't be able to, and we might have to borrow for that, which would impact our gearing. It's going to be a big investment, and it's going to be a big investment over a number of years. So that's a really good thing to start with. But again, there's only 2 marks for it. So get your answer down for that, expand it, and move on. But it's absolutely, that's the sort of thing we mean by financial costs. Great start. Okay. Oh, Meg's gone. Meg's gone for the fact that actually there's a benefit. Actually, I'm going to put a cost in. Let's put a cost in. Be a bit more savvy. Let's put a cost in orange. Benefit, Meg thinking, I like it, and it links to one of Jess's ideas actually, is that a benefit, a non-financial benefit, is that we could end up with fresher vegetables. Yeah, and actually it's that sort of out of the box thinking that's going to be really good. You'd have to expand on that a bit and say, actually, that means we can charge higher prices. Or maybe we're thinking it makes us more sustainable. Or it might improve our reputation. Or the quality of the goods. Any one of these ideas would be good for you to expand it to say, look, I've had this idea and now I'm going to tell you why that's a good thing. That explains side of things. I've got millions of messages in my chat box. Excellent. Well done. Cost, absolutely. Large visual investment, absolutely. Costly and risky. Yeah, we're going to add risky in over here. I'm pleased that lots of you have picked up this. Benefit, says Sam, is we're going to have different products to sell. Yeah, and I think that would be a financial benefit. We could increase our revenue in the long run as we'd have more products. You know, we'd have more to sell, and we're going to sell them for a margin, so we're going to be increasing our revenue and our profit, which is excellent. I really like Jessica's non-financial benefit. Being sustainability. You could talk about food miles. You know, there's lots of information you could put in there about the fact that it'd be more sustainable if we made it ourselves. Organic is definitely going to improve sustainability. That's a really good thing, good thought. And they've put that organic word in there potentially to lead you to that. So I really like that you've picked that up. And what I'd say is that all of these ideas, the sort of thing where there are going to be lots of ideas that would earn you credit as long as they're reasonable. I think you'd want to pick up this large initial investment, but other than that, there are many ideas you could come up with. Alison's come up with another non-financial benefit, being expansion. Yeah, and explaining that. So look, there's expansion opportunities here, which can improve our reputation, improve our market presence, which would lead to increased business. Absolutely. Again, similar to Ruth, talk about the diversification. Yeah, being that non-financial benefit. So excellent, we're doing really well so far. So finance costs, absolutely. I'm really pleased you've all gone for the same financial cost. Yeah. Expansion of the business, excellent. Right, and we're going to get to I'm not sure, your messages keep coming. I'm not sure I'm going to get to the end of them, which is great. Oh, nice. Leah said we're going to spread the risk. Yeah, the fact that we've got Leah said the fact that we've got a shop as well as a restaurant, we've spread the risk, which actually farm shops are still open at the moment, aren't they? So actually that could be a very good point. Yeah. Nice, Dominica says employing local people. Yeah. Employing local people to work in the farm. That's a really good point. Produce organic vegetables. This sustainability thing's big, isn't it? Yep. Excellent. Claire says benefit non-financial. Sean is living his dream, having an organic farm. Yeah, I mean, we can wangle that. So Claire said that Sean is living his dream. You'd have to link that somehow back into the business. What benefit would that have for the business? I suppose if the manager, if the director is happy, it's going to have a positive externality on the business. But just be careful there. You make sure you bring that one back into the impact on the business. But I like your thinking. Financial cost, extra staff. Excellent, Caroline. Yeah, so if we have this farm, another financial cost is going to be extra staff to employ. I'm still waiting. I'm sure there's one in there because the messages keep coming. I'm still waiting for a non-financial cost. Oh, Pina's raised a good point. What about the seasons? Yeah, seasonality could be a bit of a concern. Absolutely. Demand increased. Great, guys. You've really got the right ideas here. Excellent. Right, excellent. Perfect. Ruth has given us, if I can fit it in, some shifting around. Ruth has given us a non-financial cost. So, non-financial cost. Ruth says there's a lack of expertise. Yeah. Absolutely. Good. So we've got a lack of expertise, so it might be risky. Yeah, there might be a few other non-financial costs in here that we can look for. Time. Do you know what, Leah? I'm just going to put that one word in here. Time. I think that is the most important non-financial cost that we've got. And that's where that opportunity cost fits in. What else could Sean be doing? And there's probably, and this is going to be a massive drain on the time. Yes, it's going to be costly financially, but it's also going to be costly in terms of how much time Sean's got for the business. If he's spending all his time working out how to make a farm run, that's going to eat into some of the other time. So what else could he be doing? That's that opportunity cost side of things. And I think that's the really important non-financial cost that often comes with these big projects. It could distract him from the core business. So excellent. Right, you've got some excellent messages in here, but we've definitely got, I'm just going to have a flip through. So many answers. You can have a look at all these answers yourselves. Everyone's been kind enough to send them to everyone. So excellent. I absolutely know you've all got the idea here. Everyone happy. Alice has said, when it's referred to a non-financial cost, does it essentially mean like a downfall to the investment? It does. It means opportunity cost is often what it's talking about here. What else could you be doing? Or a downfall, yeah. So is there a big downfall to it? So the seasonality of it. Yeah. But yeah, it often is the opportunity cost. Ruth says if time spent on the farm, then you cannot spend time improving and supporting the areas of the business which needs more attention. And that is quite often the non-financial cost. That would be a financial one. So Meg said, could it be something like the money could have been spent opening new restaurants? That would be a financial one, yeah. But it's that sort of thing. So that's why the non-financial cost is quite often time. There's a different non-financial cost for the next one. So there is a few different things it can be. Yeah. But this is good, guys. Excellent. Thank you so much for all those answers. This is fantastic. And you can see why it's important to have done one, because like the questions you're asking me show me that it isn't obvious how you'd want to go about doing this. So hopefully this will help. Hopefully this is what you're after. Right. So let's look at the next one then. Yes, absolutely, Ryan. Yep, I think a non-financial benefit would absolutely be reputation. Reputation and probably more also market share. Absolutely. Market presence, all these good words. Presence. I feel like I've spelled that wrong. Yes. Absolutely. So I'm going to give you a few minutes just to read through, have a flip back through all the chat, even if it's just for a minute or so before we look onto the next one, because there's so many good ideas there in case you want to jot something down. I think, let me see how many answers we've got in our chat. 211 in our chat. That is a very, very good rate. So excellent. 211 so far. So Meg says, so for 2 marks, would you have to say 2 things each with the implication? So Meg, that is a great question. So for 2 marks, you'd have to have a well-explained idea. All right, so the well-explained idea, yeah, I think you need a well-explained idea, possibly 2 if you had the time for them. But I really don't want you to spend too long on these questions because they can be a real time drain. So then so have an idea, state the implication, and then impact on the business is kind of where you're at with it. So for example, let's pick one. So a non-financial benefit, let me pick that one. So a non-financial benefit of option 1. Let's write something here. So if the company, or Veggie Delights, let's go for that. If Veggie Delights were to open a farm, a working farm, they would diversify their products and enter new markets. Which new markets are they? Including a farm shop, including a farm shop. That won't be enough. That will probably be worth a mark, but it won't be enough. So I need to explain it a bit more and say this will diversify the risk on the business of being in each sector and may improve market share and reputation. I'll let you guys get that down. And I didn't just write to the box. I'm pretty sure that 2 good sentences is where I'm at. That's what I feel like I need. So Meg said, Megan even has said about, I think you have to be careful there. I think you've got a lot, actually you've got 4 ideas in that answer. And I think the first bit you've got is about a financial benefit, whereas the second bit, sustainability and quality and reputation, are all non-financial. So I'd stick with the second half of your answer. Yeah. And they're worth practicing. Okay, everyone got that? And then we'll have a look at the second one. So that's where we're going, like a well-rounded answer. But you have to, yes, absolutely, Megan. Megan says it's better to explain one point than shove lots in one sentence. That is absolutely true. Yeah, get one point in there and explain it. And then it's really clear that you know where you're going. Okay, let's look at this second one then. Right, this second one. Consideration 2. Outsource the production of cakes, bakes and sandwiches. This seems like a smaller option, and that's not always a bad thing, is it? Less risky, probably. I'm just getting myself a little bit of space. I know what I'm like. Move this down. This is a cool thing the iPad can do. Right, so consideration 2. Outsource production. So it says currently, put your ideas in already, you know where we're going with this. Oh, let me put my battery on. Where's my battery not working? I don't want to run out of battery, do we? At this point. Why are you not working? There you go, fixed. Right, it says currently each restaurant prepares cakes and sandwiches on site. The demand for these is high, both in the restaurants and for deliveries to local businesses, for lunches and conferences. Probably not at the moment. The cakes and sandwiches are also available for takeaway. Approximately 20% of their revenue is generated by these items. Currently, a baker is employed in each restaurant working a 4-hour shift from 4 a.m. To 8 a.m. I suppose bakers do work that time of the day, don't they? To prepare all the fresh cakes and sandwiches needed for the day. The baker is paid 20 grand per year. Buying in the bakery products and ready-made sandwiches is expected to have a higher cost than current in-house production. So I want you to spend a couple of minutes trying to think to yourself, can I come up with those 4 different options? Can I come up with those 4 different areas, I suppose, that you need to consider? Being a financial benefit of doing this, a non-financial benefit of doing this, a financial cost, and a non-financial cost of doing this outsourcing. Put your ideas in and we'll see what we've got. Quite excited for our magician show. We get loads of good employee perks like that. First intuition. We've had a magician show tonight. Last week we did the crystal maze. Did the crystal maze before I did it last week. What else have we had? Tons, cooking, all sorts of stuff. Loads and loads of cool stuff. Right, I can see the messages coming in now. I'll give you one more minute. Hopefully you're all feeling quite positive about your exam. Hopefully you're all thinking, look, at this point, you've got some time. You've got some time this weekend to do some work. But ultimately, if you've bothered to turn up and listen on a Thursday night, then you've probably put more work in than you imagine. And you've kind of just got to go into this exam thinking, right, I'm going to show the examiner what I know. It's kind of where I want people to be at with this exam. You'll have those 12 videos now, 12 hours worth of stuff to watch through. So you just give it your best shot at this point. Right, let's see then. So, excellent. Jordan's got a really great point then. So Jordan's saying that the non-financial cost could be that with outsourcing, the supply could be delivery times could be longer. And I think a lot of the time with outsourcing, the biggest non-financial cost is this idea of a reputational factor. I can't spell tonight. I don't know what's going on. I'm too excited about the magic show. Reputational factor. So as soon as I outsource anything, there's this concern maybe about the quality of the goods, maybe about the timings of the goods. Timeliness. Yeah, the quality and the timeliness, maybe they're just not as nice. Maybe they're not as fresh. And actually, as soon as we associate ourselves with an external party, the reputational factor is the biggest non-financial cost or non-financial worry. That person said that could be supposedly like the downfall. It is really. There's a big concern that we might lose business in the long run. And that's where we go to it with lose business because of the quality of the outsourcer, because we lose control. Yeah, we lose control at that point over the baker and how they're getting on. Once the baker's in our employment, if they're not doing very well, we can train them or we can find a new baker. And it is kind of the same with an outsourcer, but we might have a contract which ties us to them, so we are unable to do that. Customer retention is a good word. And absolutely, Juliet's gone straight for it as well. Non-financial, reputation, customer perception. And it is that thing actually with cakes. If you go in, you know straight away whether it's been bought in or whether it's been made there, don't you? That is a good point, customer perception. And absolutely, Emma's gone the same. And that's really great. For both of these options, you've all gone for the biggest factor straight away, and that's perfect. That shows you're on the right track. So non-financial cost, possible damage to reputation if outsourced products were of inferior taste or quality. Excellent. Oh, a good point from Megan. We're going to have to manage a contract and a relationship with supplier, which is quite special, so could require hiring new staff. That's a very good point, Megan. There's this idea, and you could phrase that as a non-financial or a financial, depending on which one you needed. Yeah, you've gone financial and non-financial, so you can put that in there, whichever box you want. Yeah, having to manage the contract, which will take time and effort. And you could say take a salary as well. Great, there's definitely a cost. Put it whichever box you want, whichever box you need. Yeah, not guaranteed quality. Excellent, Pavlina. Right, great, Ruth. She said that actually the financial cost is that there is a higher cost. Yeah, so buying it in is a higher materials cost. Yes, there's a higher cost for products. Yeah, which means that that's going to eat into our margins. Unless we pass it on to our customers, it's going to eat in. Yeah. But as Alison says, we are saving in other ways. So there is a financial benefit. Great teamwork, guys. I don't know if you're reading each other's answers, but this second one, you've especially coordinated well in that we're saving wages. And I really like your idea that we're not opening early. So that's going to reduce our overheads. We're not opening at 4 a.m. I like the fact that you use that information there. Why did they bother telling you 4 a.m. unless there was something they wanted you to think about? And yeah, we're going to reduce our overheads because we're not going to be operating from 4 in the morning. So yeah, we don't know the figures. We don't know if we can't do any calculations. They haven't told us how much the cost is. So you've just got to think around the options. Less reliable, says Wazana. Oh, Alice, great idea. Financial cost is that we might need to have some redundancy money. There may well be some redundancy money. We don't know how long that baker's been there. Yeah, absolutely. Financial benefit of 20 grand saving. Yeah. Oh, great, Jordan. Jordan says the financial benefit, decreased percentage of wasted materials and charge a higher selling price. So you might be able to charge a higher selling price. I'm not sure about the wastage. I'm not sure whether it'd be better. It would depend on the contract, wouldn't it? You could go either way with it. It might be that we could sell unsold stuff back to the outsource, or it might be that we have to keep it all. So a wastage could go either way. You could explain it either way. Reputation, absolutely. Oh, Claire says the second one's harder. I think I suppose it depends which one you're most used to as an idea. I think the idea of buying a farm is probably an easier idea to understand, maybe not only understand, but it comes more naturally. So it's quite good then to do the outsourcing one, because that is definitely something businesses will often do. Right, we've got to find one. Nice. Juliet has found us a non-financial benefit, and that's what we needed, wasn't it? A non-financial benefit. There is a few. Non-financial benefit. There are definitely benefits of outsourcing. We might save on wages, but also, as Juliet says, we're not committed to a wage. So if demand goes down, we're not committed to a wage. Yeah, so we're not as committed, as long as we've got it in our contract. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, Jordan's great, a good point. It could be that there's a non-financial benefit and that quality could actually go up. It depends on the supplier we choose. We've also assumed that this outsourcing is going to be rubbish, but actually it could be that the quality goes up. It could be that the quality goes up. Other non-financial benefits I'm thinking of here is that actually it could be that we have more time. Maybe the baker's got other skills. Maybe we don't need to make that person redundant. Maybe instead of making them redundant, we could reposition the baker. Maybe the baker's got some other excellent transferable skills. And the government would be pleased about that, wouldn't they? Those transferable skill things they were going on about. But maybe this baker does. In a question like this, we can say what we like. Blimey, 51 messages. Excellent work. Also, maybe we can use the space we've got. We can use the physical space that we've gained from not having somebody cooking there all the time. Yeah, so there are definite benefits of outsourcing. Okay, right, let me have a look through this. Perfect. Some really great ideas here. Again, make sure you've had a look through. Staff motivation is definitely a non-financial cost. Where can we put this? Whenever we're going to outsource, it does have an impact in the staff that are left. If you've ever been somewhere and somewhere in your business has been shut down because it's been outsourced, it definitely impacts the people that are left. It makes you more concerned about your position. It makes you just question it a bit more and be a bit more reticent. Yeah. Oh, non-financial benefit, larger range of products. Yeah, we haven't had that one, have we? Yep. Great. Oh, health and safety. Good point, Ruth. Ruth says maybe they won't meet the health and safety. That could be a non-financial cost if there was a health and safety problem. Great. So you've all got some really excellent ideas here. All of these ideas I'm happy with. Oh, that's a good idea. No replacement if the baker got sick. We won't have to worry about staff illness. It's a very good point. If we've outsourced it, it's not our problem if someone's ill, is it? True. Excellent. Excellent. Another one to pick out of here because my messages have gone crazy in my chat. Julia says we don't need an equipment for bakery. Yep, the bakery equipment can be sold. That could be a financial benefit. We could sell the bakery equipment, and that stuff doesn't come cheap. And maybe we're going to make some sort of profit out of that. Ryan's got a good question in here. He says, can you cross-link between options 1 and 2? No, I think you keep them separate purely because there's nothing in this question here which asks me to compare them. If the question had anything about comparison, I'd want to compare them. But because this question is literally the benefits of each option, I'm not gonna compare the two. But I think, yeah, be followed by the question on that one. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the first one. Oh, so some people say the first one was harder. So on your reactions, give me a yes if the first one was harder, and give me a no on reactions if the second one was harder. Which one was harder for you? The first one, a yes, and the second one, a no on your reactions and the screen. Second one was harder. So a lot of people found the second one harder. And that's interesting. And I'm not massively surprised. Like I said, outsourcing feels like a stranger thing to do. So with outsourcing, you've got to remember that typically we're worried about the reputational factor. And also we might have redundancies. But we do free up time. And these kind of ideas that we're seeing are fairly standard. Yeah, the second one, that's definitely it, Julia. The second one's easier because you're in the right frame of mind. And that was exactly the point tonight. If you see these questions in the exam, hopefully you think, okay, that's fine. Whatever they throw at you option-wise, you won't be trying to focus on what the question's asking. Hopefully you'll have a bit better understanding of that at that point. That's a good point, Marius. If outsourcing isn't working, you can change it back quickly. Oh, don't worry about that, Rachel. I'm sure you will. Have a look at this page. I'm sure you will. All these ideas, yeah, I'll save it now. All these ideas are going to be in your brain whether you like it or not. Yeah, they'll be in there somewhere. So I'll put this on that email. So I normally send it tomorrow. So make sure you've got it. You need to register it. What day is our exam, everybody? Monday, Friday, Thursday, Monday. All the days. Okay. I'm just trying to work out how many of us are doing it next week and how many of us are carrying on. So if you're doing it next week, some are only just starting to study. Okay. All right. Yeah, this one is hard to prepare for, Alice. It really is. This one is hard compared to the other exams because it's so much. It's like a not a train wreck. It's a big old whirlwind of stuff. Okay, so lots of April people. So a task 6 SWOT analysis, the best thing to do at this point is to either do your AAT sample assessments, if you've got them, or if you haven't done them, or to buy the First Intuition mock product. You can buy the 2 mocks and there's a SWOT in there. Right, so try and find a SWOT. You'll hopefully be able to find a SWOT. I'm pretty sure there's a SWOT analysis in one of our recordings. It should, if you look on the email when I send it, it should say which one. Yeah, the FI mocks are, and they're not expensive. Yes, I will put that in my email. Yeah, I'll put it in my email. But just give it your best shot, everybody. Like everyone's saying, give it your best shot. You've given up your time. You've given up your time. Put your work in. Give it your best shot next week. You have to go into this exam fighting. Yeah, go in thinking, I'm going to fight, roll my sleeves up, eye of the tiger, get myself a good pass, and come out the other side thinking, yes, that was an exam I needed to work for, but I've passed it now. All right.